call it a yellow? Should we call it a green? Should we call it a yellow? There's a theme going on here. Hello beautiful makeup lovers and welcome back to my channel. Today is a palette ranking video. It's been a little while since I've done a palette ranking. I do have some really nice palettes to rank and talk about with you today. But before that, I'd just like to say thank you to Give Me Cosmetics because they are sponsoring the first part of this video. They reached out to me and wanted to send me some of their lovely things and I was excited to try them, to be honest, because I like skincare and hair care things, and especially when they come in little bundles. So let me show you the things that I got. So the first collection I want to talk about is the full hair care set, and you get a shampoo and conditioner in this, really big sizes. There is 300ml in each. There was also a hair mask. This is really, really nice. I can't tell you how soft and beautiful my hair was after I'd used this hair mask. I love a hair mask anyway, but this one afterwards, it just felt so, like even now, it feels so soft and smooth after using this. So I'm going to be reaching for this a lot. This is 100ml and I would definitely repurchase this. You get a little brush with it as well, all matching, all pink, and the packaging looks super cute, I have to say. And all this stuff smells beautiful. There is also the coconut oil and argan oil hair serum, which has actually got my hair on it. Let's just remove that. Protects against humidity, heat, and fights frizz. That is what I need, especially in the warm weather in the UK at the moment. And the hair repair cream helps strengthen and bond split ends and damaged hair with natural proteins, and there's 150ml of this, and it's a leave-in treatment. I like to put this in the lengths of my hair after I've styled it or even straightened it, just to give it a little bit, like, it can get a bit dry looking. So I like to pop this in after I straightened it like I did today, and there's 45ml of the hair serum. The heat defense spray, I always need heat defense spray. Honestly, I run out so much because I've got super duper long hair, so I'm obviously spraying absolutely everywhere to make sure it's all protected, because I do have it dye blonde as well, so I need to really treat it well because it's been bleached. There's 150ml of this and it's coconut oil and argan oil. Prep and protect, protects hair from styling damage, defends up to 230 degrees, and a UV filter. The next one is the skincare range, and I have to say this skincare bundle is really, really good. I've been using this the past couple of nights and I'm really picky when it comes to skincare. So first up, something I don't usually use is a makeup remover. So you get 100ml of this, and I was using this just to remove my makeup before I went in with a cleansing balm. And actually, because I do big, bright, bold, colourful makeup looks, you know, it's a bit difficult to remove sometimes even when I double cleanse. So starting with this step was actually really useful. The cleansing balm. I'm so picky with cleansing balms, like it's no joke. But this one is with green tea and vitamin E, and it is really, really nice. You can see I've dug my finger into this quite a bit. None of these products have got super duper strong scents. It's just like a nice subtle scent. I really like this. This could be rivaling the cleansing balm that I'm using at the moment, and I would definitely be tempted to pick one of these up when I run out. Then we have the face toner with retinol and witch hazel. Really like a face toner. You get a lot of this, 100ml, again, super cute packaging. I will show you these more close up. And then I would use afterwards the face serum with hyaluronic acid and retinol, anti-aging niacinamide formula that firms and moisturizes the skin, 80ml. I love anything with niacinamide in. My skin really, really likes it for tone and texture, and it sort of helps keep the blemishes at bay and not want to be blemishy, you know? Then we've got the day cream with niacinamide and retinol. Obviously self-explanatory, day cream, you use it in the day. 50ml of this, super nice as well. And then the eye cream, I really like the packaging of this one. This is the nicest packaging of eye cream that I think I've owned, and I can go through eye cream, I tell you. And there's 20ml of that. Or if you just wanted the double cleanse bundle, you can get the makeup remover, the cleansing balm, and the little face cloth makeup remover. So basically everything you're going to be needing to remove your makeup. Then we have the Flexi Paddle brush. I did need a new hairbrush, and this one is really, really nice, especially for my long hair, and it doesn't sort of get tangled or stuck, and it's not one of those ones that's really, really painful and digs into your head, do you know what I mean? So it's just nice. It matches all the other little pink bits and bobs that we've got going on. And then last but not least is the hair wrap. Now I usually just stick a towel on my head, and then if you sort of look down, it sort of all falls off. So this one is super handy. I've never actually owned one of these before. So I put this on and it actually does fit all my long hair in it, and then attach it all up. And it was nice to have it out the way off my shoulders, and I could actually move my head without it all tumbling down. Here are the clips of me using some of the products.
think we got enough time to sort out all the fights, sort out all the lies. Oh baby, yeah. There was a part of me that knew that, and still I'm caught by surprise. I thought you'd always be mine. I guess our dreams fell asleep. There's no passion in the comatose. Baby going down, 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 down. Baby going down, 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 down. Tried so hard to stay afloat. Yeah, we keep moving like the river goes. Baby going down, 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 down. Yeah. And I thought, it's time I'm letting you go. This time I know it for sure. I just thought I should let you know. Yeah, now, no words no more, no. I got so high on a low. That's when I loved you the most. Now I thought I should let you know. Yeah, now, no words no more, no. I really thought we had it covered. Was gonna patch up all the scars, but we smashed up all the parts. Oh na na na. Always knew that you were stubborn, but didn't know it'd be so hard to figure out who you.
I would just like to say a big thank you to Give Me Cosmetics for sponsoring this part of the video. I have found some little gems in the things that they have sent to me, and it's been really nice trying some new things because I do tend to buy a lot of makeup, so to get hair care and skincare things as well, especially the cleansing balm is probably one of my favourites out of all of the things, and the hair mask. Absolutely, I love a hair mask. I will link all of these products down below and all the different bundles that you can get if you want to check them out. They do a lot more things on their website, and if I can find any discount codes, I will put that down below as well, just to save you some extra pennies. So let's dive on into the palette ranking. So there are only 9 palettes this time because I'm trying to do it more regularly so that we don't end up with like 20 palettes that I'm having to rank. So these are the recent ones in my collection. A lot of them are brand new. Are they all brand new recent releases? I pretty much think so. I think I've got videos on all of these palettes. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I think there's only one that I think I'm not 100% happy with the formula with, and that is very low down. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But a lot of these things you have to remember are down to preference. So it might be to do with the colour story or the formulas inside that just aren't my preference rather than them not being great palettes. So we're going to be starting out, unfortunately, with the Colourpop Lost in Wonderland palette. Now, I was so excited when this collection dropped to Colourpop because I love Alice in Wonderland and I really like Colourpop's collabs. I think they do them really, really well. The packaging's super cute. I mean, I've got all the swatches and the close-ups of these palettes. I will try and remember to link the corresponding videos down below next to each palette, but the actual colour story inside I don't think makes sense for Alice. Like, I know some people are going to disagree with me, and yes, it's a different take on Alice, it's not your usual take, but for me it's not a usable colour story. It's not easy to use just because you have so many light pastel mattes, then you have a black matte with shimmer in, and to go from that deep of a shade to a pastel, it's not the easiest to blend out. So that wasn't my favourite. We do have a kind of pressed glitter up here, which is okay if you're tapping it over the lid, but again, I could have missed that out. That could have been just a nice shimmer shade instead of a pressed glitter. The 2 shimmers up here are really, really nice, but this one down here, I don't know what is wrong with the formula. It did not feel good to me whatsoever. It's called Lose Something, and it looks beautiful when it's on the lid. It's got blue little sparkles in it, but it feels a little bit putty-like and a bit gritty, and it's a bit difficult to work with and pick up and apply on the eye. So I really dislike that. So for those reasons, obviously I had to rank it this low because it's not just colour story, it's also formula that I feel like has let me down a little bit as well. So I was a little bit disappointed with this palette in the end. I do prefer the other things that came in the Alice in Wonderland collection. Next up, we have got the Melt Cosmetics Electrip palette. Now, there is nothing wrong with this palette. Quality-wise, I think it's really, really nice. Packaging is beautiful. It's lovely from Melt. I like to collect a lot of Melt eyeshadows, and I think the colour story is pretty. I think it's very, very safe for Melt, and I think they could have done something so much more than this because I feel like they've released these tones before. Not necessarily together like this, but I don't know. When I heard the name Electrip, I was hoping for a bit more vibrancy, a bit more, you know, out there shades. But I think it's very, very safe. Like I say, the quality is nice. The shimmers are pretty. The mattes feel a tiny, tiny bit different to the usual Melt formula for mattes, and they feel a tiny, tiny bit thinner. I mean, they're still pigmented. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I don't think it's the same quality as before for the mattes. Still good, but not exactly the same as before. So for that reason, I'm ranking it a little bit lower, but it is not a bad palette. I'm still really glad I've got it in my collection. I just think there's a few tweaks that could have been made, for me personally, for me to rank it higher. Then we have the Beauty Bay Tropical palette. Now this was first released in a bundle that you had to pay £30 for, and nobody wanted the other things that came in the bundle. We just wanted the palette. Thankfully, Beauty Bay listened, and they have now released this on its own, so you can get this without having to get the bundle on the Beauty Bay website. I hope they never do that again, because if this is going to become a theme of you have to buy the bundle for the first couple of weeks until you can get the palette separately, like, that's going to annoy a lot of people. So hopefully they've learned their lesson and they've realised people just wanted the palette on its own. Now this is, don't know if this is limited edition actually or not. The bundle was limited edition, but I'm not sure about this palette. It's a 16 colour palette rather than the 20 pans that are usually limited edition, and it is very tropical. As the name would suggest, it's very sunset vibes. It's oranges, yellows, purples, pinks. It is beautiful. However, we could have had one shade that was a bit deeper in this. Just for the people that like a bit of depth, you know, we don't all want mid-tone to light shades in palettes. Like, just one shade would have been okay. And the deepest shade that's in this, called Watermelon, it actually looks like mine's getting a little bit of hard pan in it now, which is a shame. I had to dig into it a lot because it doesn't translate like it does in the pan on the eye. It's a little bit lighter on the eye, which again, for somebody that was looking for depth and you're going for the deepest shade and it translates a little bit lighter, that's not the best. However, the other shades that I used performed beautifully, just as I know Beauty Bay shades to perform. Pigmented, blendable. The shimmers are absolutely gorgeous, glittery, sparkly shades. You do have more than one shimmer texture in this, I believe. Shimmer formula, should I say. I think it is a beautiful palette overall. It's just that watermelon shade that disappointed me a little. Then we have a brand that I only just recently tried, which is Wicked Widow Beauty, and this is the Tea Time palette. I really wanted to pick this up. I like the things that the brand is doing, so I wanted to test the formula, and I think this palette is fantastic. Don't be fooled into thinking because I put it in this position that it's a bad palette. It's not. The only reason it's ranking a slightly lower down is just because you're limited with the shade options, and again, no depth. And obviously I like more mattes in a palette than shimmers, so I'm ranking it here just for those reasons. But I think the packaging is super cute. The theming, you get a mirror in here, different shimmer textures. You have two really sort of foily gorgeous metallics and then two more traditionally type shades, and then you've got the 4 mattes. I think it's a beautiful palette all in all, but it's a companion palette for me. Then we have the Wenzdae Jewels and Gems palette. Now I really loved the look I created with this palette, and it is a more neutral leaning palette for Wenzdae, which was amazing to see from the brand. They are a Swedish indie brand, and this palette looks beautiful. I think in person it looks so much nicer. Like, I know a lot of people say that, but I don't think the pictures online or even the swatches are doing this palette justice. And for a neutral palette, I think it is a beautiful one. It's still got some colour in there to keep me interested as a bright Technicolor lover. And actually, yeah, like I said, the look that I came out with this was actually really nice and surprising to me at how much I liked it. So I think I would definitely be reaching for this palette when I'm thinking I want to do a neutral leaning look. I don't have any hard pan issues. I know some people do complain of hard pan with the Wenzdae formula, but so far I'm really enjoying this palette and I've got no issues with it. Then we have its sister palette that was released at the same time from Wenzdae. This is the Stone and Rock palette. Again, amazing packaging. This one is ranking slightly higher just because it's got green in it. Am I allowed to do that? Of course I'm allowed, it's my channel. So the greens, the greens in this are delicious. Again, neutral leaning. It's not a full brown palette because if it was, I probably wouldn't have reached for it or bought it. We have depth with a black, we have a matte white, we have the nice green tones. Even the brown is sort of like a yellowy, grungy brown. And this shade, High Spirits, is like a multi-chrome, duochrome type of situation. It is stunning. And again, different formulas in this. I haven't dipped into the real flaky looking ones. So maybe I wouldn't prefer this palette over some of the others if I'd have used those specific 2 shades, because they're not my favourites when working with shimmers. I find them to be a little bit difficult to pick up unless you're using your finger, and they're a bit flaky and fallouty. Having said that though, the shades that I've used in this palette and the ones that I've tested, absolutely stunning. And like I say, for a neutral leaning palette, because it's got the green and the depth and the light, lovely. Next up, we have the Natasha Denona Yucca palette. Of course it had to be in the top 3. It's amazing quality and it's a lovely colour story. The packaging on the outside is a beautiful ombre. I do have 2 videos with this, I believe. 3 because I'm comparing it to another one in the 3rd one. This is a gorgeous yellow leaning, neutrally greeny, peachy colour story, and the shimmers in this are spectacular. That is what really makes this palette. We do have two cream to powders, which is the deep green and the sort of yellowy orange down here. Now unfortunately this deep green, which should be the deepest shade in the palette, doesn't translate as deep on the eye as it looks in the pan, which is a little bit sad, but it is a cream to powder. I'm not sure if that is the reason. Love this Camu shade. It is a gorgeous, vibrant, yellowy green? Should we call it a yellow? Should we call it a green? Should we call it a yellow? I love the tones in this, especially because it's yellow leaning, and I love that when it comes to brown tones, and the fact that you've got green in here as well. And like I said, the shimmers, absolutely beautiful. Easy to work with, and they look stunning on the lid. I do have a 15% off affiliated code with Natasha denona if you wanted to shop with that on the website to save yourself some pennies. So that is that one. Then we have the palette I'm wearing on my eyes today, and this is coming in at number 2. This is the Nomad Cosmetics new palette. Now, how do I say this again? Okavango Safari palette. I love Nomad. They are one of my favourite indie brands by a mile. I have a special place in my heart for Nomad Cosmetics. I think the owners are really genuinely lovely people. Their customer service is amazing. I like the fact that all the palettes are based on destinations, and every single time that they choose a destination and release a palette, they give some of their profits to a charity in that region, and it just blows me away, especially the packaging. It's being stepped up a gear. Every palette that comes out now, the packaging is just something a little bit different, and I'm really liking that. Like the packaging of this one is actually a little bit velvety soft. It's really, really nice. Inside you usually get a big mirror. This one, again, neutral leaning. We have a lot of neutral leaning. There's a theme going on here. Now, I did do a video comparing this and the Natasha denona Yucca palette if you wanted to see that, if you was debating out of the two which one you would prefer, but I have ranked this slightly higher just because I prefer the brand as a whole. I like the packaging of this one a little bit more. The mattes in this are more preferable to me, and you have depth in here. And I do think that the shimmers are a little bit more hard pressed than usual in this palette. But having said that, you can see the shimmer on my lid today. It's absolutely beautiful, definitely workable, not to the point that they can't be used. I think it is a stunning palette, and again, for a neutral palette, like, I am not a neutral lover. I saw this and I was like, wow, okay, that is neutral but with pops. And the fact that you've got the zebra print shade, there was a bit more of a stripy one up here, and there was a speckledy one here, like, it's just a little bit different. And I love to support Nomad. Okay, on top spot, like, I didn't know this was going to be coming out as number 1 until I had all the palettes in front of me, and I was like, this can't not. This has to come out at number 1, which it came out of nowhere. It was the dark horse of the day. It's the Wicked Widow Beauty Scissorhands 2 palette, and last time I looked, this was out of stock. I'm hoping I'll be able to link it if it's in stock somewhere. I'm not sure if they're on Monolith or other places rather than just the Wicked Widow site, but this colour story is what drew me in and made me want to try the brand. I was like, yes. Theming, Scissorhands 2, absolutely. We have green, blue, purple, yes, absolutely yes. This shade, Imperfect, is one of the best shimmers I have ever used. When it's on the lid, it just looks so wet and foily and shifty. It is stunning. It is the best shimmer that is in this palette in my humble opinion. And you do have some more grunge tones in here. You have some nice combinations of colours. I just love the aesthetic of this, and I think the quality is really, really nice. So yeah, it just sort of crept up out of nowhere. And of course, it wasn't going to be a neutral palette that came out on number 1. It was going to be something with colour. So guys, please do let me know what you think to this ranking down below in the comments. Again, thank you so much to Give Me Cosmetics for sponsoring the first part of this video, and hopefully I'll be able to link the corresponding videos for you down below if you're wanting to see me use any of these palettes or see any of the swatches, anything like that. Thank you so much for checking out this video, guys. If you could give me a like, that would be amazing. I still have to film with my Scooby-Doo collection that I picked up from Glamlight, and I have an outfit. Unfortunately, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I'm going to be dressed as Scooby. No, that's not going to be it. So definitely subscribe if you want to see the outfit and the Scooby-Doo makeup. Thank you so much to those of you that stay till the very end of the video, and hopefully, guys, I'll see you in my next one. Bye!